Hey, it's Pete Checkley for Sample Review, and today I'm checking out the new Pigments 3 by Arturia. Pigments has evolved over the years and has just been upgraded from the superb 2.9 version to the new feature-packed version 3. Pigments 3 takes everything that made Pigments 2 a huge success and adds even more unique features to make Pigments 3 one of the most groundbreaking and versatile soft synths on the market. New highlights include, but are not limited to, 200 brand new presets, a new harmonic oscillator, a third utility engine, and 64 new wavetables. There's plenty to explore, so let's take a look at the major changes in the all-new Pigments 3. Pigments 3 is a polychrome software synthesizer with now over 1200 presets. You can choose from 2 of 4 different engines in parallel with a third utility engine for more depth of sound. It has a powerful FX section and over 160 wavetables. There is also a versatile sequencer and arpeggiator. Pigments 3 normally sells for €199 but has regular discounts to €99 from time to time. Here we have Pigments 3. If you're used to Pigments 2.9, you'll be very familiar with what you're seeing. The GUI and the layout and just the presentation of Pigments is absolutely fantastic, really clear to use. Now, if you just want to double check that you have installed the correct version, you can just click on About and you'll see version 3.0. Now, there's a lot to cover, and I'm going to make sure that I'm talking really about differences as opposed to jumping into sound design, etc. So the first big thing, and a great starting point, is if you go into your library. So if I go into my banks, now you can see you have the Pigments 2 library here and you have Pigments 3 next to it, and there are 200 new presets. So first thing I'm going to do is just categorize them by type and play through some of these amazing new presets. Listening to those demos, you can hear that Pigments 3 is just a massive synth capable of so much different sound design. Now, you get 200 extra presets, and if you are a new user, you would have got the Spectrum Soundbanks. Now, there are 500 different presets, and they're split into Amethyst, Crimson, Malachite, Ochre, and Onyx. Now, normally these would have artwork, as you can see on the other sound sets I have. For some reason, I don't know why, but that will probably update very, very shortly. You have lots of different categories. I'll play just one or two more, some synth keys. That's always worth checking out the mod wheel to see if anything's going on there. And not all patches will actually have that going on, but you can see a lot of them do. Here's New Planet. I'll go for one more. Let's just take Slow Wave. So there's plenty going on, and then you can just work your way through all of these, and you can literally get lost in as many different presets as you want to. So if I was open Artemis bells. Okay, and then on the right here, you can actually see what's really going on. So you have two layers. Now, there are 4 different engines you can choose from. And here we have just one going on at the moment. But depending on the patch you choose, now we've got 2. And there's utility engine, and there's also the parallel filters, so only one is being used there. So to keep you going, if you're just using synths as a preset machine, you can't really go wrong with Pigments. There is so much going on, so much depth. It could be cinematic, it could be electronic, EDM, whatever you want it to be. There's going to be something in there for you. And there's also the Arturia store, so everything's licensed either on the website or through the instrument. But I've bought myself a collection of some really cool stuff. Going back to our main page, it's a really straightforward layout. So if you think of Pigments in a bit of a sequence, you have the synth section, then the effects, and then the sequencer or the arpeggiator. So I always start on the synth. Now, what I'm not going to do is just go on about sound design and all this kind of stuff, because for me, sound design, the whole beauty of it is just sort of trial and error and creating things and messing around with things and seeing what you get. But the layout is really, really straightforward, so I'd rather talk about that. Now, we have our 2 engines, and these run in parallel, so you can have 1 or 2 working at the same time. So I've just put a default patch on, and there we have our first one. It's our wavetable. Now, the big change here is we used to have analog, wavetable, and sample. So analog, you can change different analog sounds. Wavetable, again, you can choose from the many different wavetable sounds we've got going on, and of course you can see all the wavetables which are included in your sound sets. So if I want to use one of the new ones, obviously it's not a design patch, but you can hear the different wavetables. So that's straightforward. And the samples is the next one, so you can choose different samples, and again, everything sample based will pop up from your different sound sets. Very cool. And the last one, I should have closed that. And the last one is the new one, which is the harmonics. Now, it's the kind of thing I'd spend a lot of time sort of messing around and playing with. Sort of down below, also you've got our basic keyboards, so we can change different functions there. The envelopes, the LFOs, different functions. Just messing around now. Yeah, and then random and combinate. So this is the kind of thing you got to sort of play with. But if we obviously on the harmonic, and then it is just a case of playing around. Oops. Keep the volume up. And a cool overtone there. I really am just playing and playing and playing. And this is the problem. You're just going to get to a point where you just want to play around with it. Anyway, the point is the harmonic engine will combine with whatever engine you want to use. So on a sample, by default it loads to the grand piano. Let's just get some chimes going. And you're just playing around. It's really, really straightforward. So I say it's straightforward. A synth like Pigments does takes simplicity to a new level, I'd say. It on the surface of things looks really, really sort of well thought out, well laid out, but to really get the most of it, you've got to really dive in, which is a process I would freely admit that I'm working through myself. So yeah, that's brilliant. And then obviously we have different filters. So there are 2 filters you can run at the same time, and there are a choice of 10 different filters for each patch that you create. So plenty going on there. What else is new? So far I've covered the harmonic layer, the utility engine, and also the fact there's a lot of different wavetables going on. So if we go over to the effects now, these are the 3 effects in one go we can have, but of course you can have the effects B slot as well. So you can effectively have 6, and then the auxiliary. So on effects A, this is going to test my memory quite well. Now there is a couple of new effects. So the PS delay is a new effect, and it's always a good place to start off with some presets. Very cool. And then we also have, what else? There is the chorus June 6. And again, you can instantly lo-fi. What else can we do? Put it in quavers. Sounds very, very cool. And we also have BL20 flanger. And again, let's go some presets. Let's go fast chorus. And there is one more. It's the multiband. Multiband's new as well, so let's bring up the highs. 3-band limiter. So like I say, you can stack these effects and you can put them on the mod wheel and do really whatever you want. So sound design capabilities, even more effects is always a really, really good thing. And the quality of effects on Pigments 3, when I was using it in 2.9, is absolutely fantastic. And then going through in 3, just the scope you have with these extra 4 effects can make a whole difference to your sound and timbres. Another big new feature is the addition of the Dupe 8V low pass filter. So I've loaded a pad, memory of you, nice and warm. I'm going to turn off the second filter. I'm going to just play or put on the Dupe 8. Now if we just change the reso and the cutoff. It's going to be very careful. I'm just hearing it really gently oscillate in my ears, and that to me is the sweet spot. So of course this can be combined with all the other different filters on the second filter layer, but yeah, it's another sound design option. The final feature is in the effects, and it's just the way all the effects now are routed using different bus system, using the auxiliary, and it's just the way it's sort of more neatly compacted, I guess. So it's difficult to show without a 2.9 comparison, but that has changed and it's a little bit easier to use. Well, actually, it's a lot easier to use. So yeah, it's very, very visual, very, very straightforward. And the other one, there is actually one other feature. It's not actually in the instruments, but Arturia have made some in-depth tutorials. Now, if I was going to go through Pigments 3 and try and show every single thing that it does, it would take hours and hours and hours. And it's one of those instruments you just want to invest a huge amount of time into to get the most out of. But if you don't want to spend that sort of time, or you don't have the time to do it, like say as a preset machine, or just taking a preset and tweaking it to your liking, is really, really straightforward. And it's incredibly visual. The workflow is really intuitive. So really, I would recommend trial and error and use your ears to see what you're doing. But obviously the tutorials on Arturia website will really, really help you in this process. My final thoughts on this Pigments 3 update. Well, first of all, should you get it? If you already own Pigments 2.9, it is a free update, which I think is incredible. You are getting 200 presets for free and all these new features. If you're thinking about jumping in, obviously you get the Spectrum sound set or the collections, that's another 500. And for €99, which was the intro offer, and frequently I've seen Pigments, in fact I bought it myself for €99 on an offer, it's just fantastic value for money. Now, obviously you can add different sound sets. So if I go to my banks, these are bought through the Arturia store, and in a previous SLR review I've looked at the Tom Wolfe collection as well. So there are third-party sound sets you can use. There's nothing stopping you creating your own, which is absolutely great. So for me, it's just an incredibly versatile synth. You can be cinematic, atmospheric, ambient, electronic. I use it a lot for crime scoring and ambient scoring, but it doesn't stop there. It's just capable of so much, and with these extra additions it's capable of so much more, and we're going to see a lot more sound sets being created to utilize the new features. So it's a huge recommendation from me. On 2.9 it was a massive recommendation, but now one of the best synths on the market got a whole lot better. All that leaves me to say is thank you so much for checking out the new features of Pigments 3 with me. If you like what you heard, leave us a like and drop us a comment about the new features, the sound design elements, what you'd use it for, and just generally the overall direction of this absolutely brilliant instrument. Please subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos on the channel. There's lots of brilliant content there, and also head over to samplibreview.com to check out everything that's going on in the world of virtual and software instruments. Take care, have a fantastic day, and see you next time.